Hey guys, it's your favorite Unk here. Go ahead and click that subscribe button below so you don't miss a single episode of Nightcap. That button right here. Come for the sports, stay for the stories. Cowboys EVP, Executive Vice President, Stephen Jones, we're very aware of fans' frustration from this disastrous wild card home playoff loss to Jerry saying we would be all in this offseason to being the NFL's least active team during the first few days of free agency and the negotiating period. Cowboys fans have never been more frustrated with ownership than they are right now. Cowboys Executive VP Stephen Jones says we're very, very aware. Everybody certainly has that right. I know where the frustration is. It's in fact, we haven't had success in the playoffs to their satisfaction. Until we do, then the criticism is certainly something that we're going to be aware of. We know that we're going to be there, but we're going to stick with what we believe will ultimately get us a championship here for our fans. We don't define all in by spending in free agency. It's keeping the core together. Kind of like what I said.
I have a problem.
You have a problem, okay?
The key words to what he just said. We're going to stick to what we believe in. And going all in doesn't require spending in free agency. If you're going to be that blind to continue to believe in what you've always done, then you're going to always have the same results that you've had the past 20 years. How many years has it been?
29.
You're going to have the same results that you've had the past 29 years. The fact that they still are tone deaf, know the fans are upset, but the first thing you say is, we're going to stick to the same thing we've been doing. So as Cowboys fans or other fans of other teams in general, you have a right to be frustrated because nothing is going to change based on what Stephen Jones just said. They're not willing to change the way they do things. You have to spend in free agency. You have no choice. That's what you have to do. You have to bring in other people, other personnel, veterans that have that leadership, that have playoff experience. So when those times come in the playoffs, those players know how to rise to the occasion. But again, we're going to stick to our guns and do things the way we feel it should be done, which will result in the same goddamn results come this season.
Do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten.
Ooh.
But after I listened to what Jerry said the other day, you remember what I said, Ocho? I said, listening to his comments, it seems to me all in means re-signing our guys. It means redoing something with Dak, making sure Micah's taken care of, making sure CeeDee Lamb is taken care of.
Well, now, you can just say that. You can just say that. You can just say that. When someone uses the words or uses the term or the analogy of being all in, that means doing everything I can to make sure we're not back in the same situation we were, being bounced in the first round of the playoffs. That's what all in means. If you're being specific on taking care of individual players, then you use that type of terminology. Man, come on, man.
No, but I got to give you guys false hope, because when Jerry says all in, everybody thinks Jerry's going to be a big time spender in free agency. But if you look at his history, Jerry hasn't spun in free agency in a very, very long time.
And guess what Guess what else they haven't done in a very, very long time?
They have won a Super Bowl. So I get, but if you look at Kansas City, left tackle, free agency, right tackle, free agency, left guard, free agency, Mark MVS, free agency. McKinnon, free agency. So but they have had success. The draft, they drafted Chris Jones, they drafted Mahomes, they drafted Kelsey, they drafted the corners, they drafted L'Jarius Sneed, they drafted those safeties, they drafted McDuffie. Yes, Tranquil, they got him in free agency. So I think it needs to be a healthy blend.
Right.
But see, when people think free agency in the Cowboys, they think big names. Prime time. We got to go get a prime time. Right. Well, there are no prime times available.
Ain't out there like that.
Teams are not giving those type of guys up. Those guys are not going to be on the market.
Right.
So I understand. And like I said, listening to Jerry, because like when I just read it, and then I actually saw him actually give it. I knew I say, well, he means all in means he's going to keep his core guys. That's what he meant by that. And I think the fans need to understand that's what Jerry means. He's going to make sure Micah stays in a Cowboys uniform.
Right.
He's going to make sure CeeDee Lamb stays in a Cowboys uniform. He's going to make sure Dak stays in a Cowboys uniform by extending him and lowering that cap number. Now, Tyron Smith, that's another story. We know he's one of the better offensive tackles in all of football, but he hadn't played the full season in a very, very long time.
Right.
And I know the Cowboys have gone frustrated with that. Now, the left guard, Tyler Smith, he's interchangeable. He's great. He can play left guard. He can play left tackle. He cut his teeth at the left tackle spot. They bumped him down to left guard when Tyron Smith came back. So I don't think the Cowboys will have a problem kicking him back out to left tackle. Right. They lost Tyler Biotish, the center, in free agency. So it's going to be interesting to see. Now, they can move Terrence Steele. He played some left tackle, but I think he's kind of cemented himself and found a home on the right side alongside Zach Martin.
Right.
So for me, I saw, but they did make a splash today. They signed Eric Kendricks. He had originally agreed to a deal with the 49ers, but
he switched up.
He did a quick pivot, and he signed with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So I like that. They need linebackers. You can't keep playing those small ass guys. That nickel and dime defense is great as long as the team plays into your hands,
right?
Ocho, by throwing the football. But what happens when a team lines up like Green Bay did in the playoffs?
Run straight downhill.
What happens when the 49ers do what they did? What happened when the Cardinals do what they did?
Right.
Or the Eagles. Now you're in a heap of trouble because you got safeties weighing 215 trying to hold up against a guard, trying to hold up against a tackle or a fullback or a tight end. It ain't going to work.
Nah, definitely ain't. And you know, speaking of, since we talk about the Eagles and you just brought them up, you know what owner is showing you the definition of all in? That goddamn Howie Roseman.
No, Jeffrey Lurie is the owner.
Jeffrey, I'm sorry, Jeffrey Lurie. I mean, that's what you call all in. That's what you call making sure what happened last year doesn't happen and we contend for a title. That's what all in entails. Not saying it, not in front of the cameras, not in front of the media, doing it through action in that goddamn checkbook. We're going to make sure we have a chance at that goddamn Lombardi come this year.
Yeah. Because it's kind of when you get so close. I mean, you're so close, Ocho. They played so well the first half, kind of had the game in control. And the problem that I have is that when they had momentum in the game, they didn't get separation. Because if you look at this, watch this, you guys have watched the Super Bowl. You see a team get that momentum, but they don't put enough separation between the two.
Right.
We watched the Eagles do it with the Chiefs. We watched the 49ers do it with the Chiefs. When you get that momentum, you need to put 17, 20, 24 points between you guys.
Yeah.
You leave a team around, they're like, hold on. As bad as we played, we're only 3 points down.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what happens when we get the momentum? And you saw what happened. So Eric Kendricks is on the way. He's a good linebacker.
Yeah.
The Wolf Hunter, he probably going to step aside. He's having those reoccurring neck injuries. And anything that has to do with that neck and
you don't want to play. You don't want to play with that.
Yeah. You let that go. Let it go.
Nah.
Let it go. Van Der Esch.
Kyle.
Kyle. Yeah. Kyle. Yeah. He played well, and I like this signing by the Cowboys. But Jerry's right. Ocho, we go out in free agency, and because how's that going to look? Let's just say, for the sake of argument, Mike Brown says, "Ocho, Bengal fans, we going all in," and you on the roster. You making $10 million, but they come in and sign a receiver for $19 million. Ocho gonna feel some type of way.
Well, obviously, if I was on the roster, there would be no receiver you could sign that is worth of making more than I am anyway. So we would have to go.
We get T.O. in his prime. We get Randy Moss. Yeah, it was. Yeah, absolutely. Randy Moss. Did you forget about Randy? Randy, you was in the league when Randy got there.
That's impossible, though. To have both of us on the same team. That's like saying Jamar Chase. Wait a minute, stop. Come on now. That's a hypothetical. That's like saying Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson can be all in and play for the Bengals right now. I see a lot of people talk about that rumor. It's impossible. There ain't enough money to go around.
All I'm saying is, see, when you talk about there's not another receiver, but I'm saying we've seen teams bring guys in, pay them a higher dollar amount than somebody already on that team. Have you not seen that?
No, I've never seen a number one. I've never seen a number one.
It's not enough, Ocho. I'm just saying a player in general. A defensive tackle or a defensive tackle on your team. They sign a defensive tackle in free agency and pay him more than a guy that's already been there, or a cornerback or a safety. I'm sorry, I meant I was specific, but I'm just saying. So in all your years, you've never seen somebody on your team. They bring another player in and pay him more than somebody's already been there.
And most of the time, if they're paying them more, that means the person coming in is better than the person that's already there. That is what has happened in those cases. Yes, I've seen that before.
No, that doesn't necessarily mean that, because that means a lot of times when I look at it, it's like, okay, in free agency, we had to spend more. But if in order to get said individual.
Yes, sir. You got to overpay.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to overpay.
So if I go get a defensive player and I got to pay him, so let's just say I get a defensive player and I pay him $22 million, $23 million, and you ain't signed Micah, and Micah's sitting right there making $4 million. How you think Micah gonna feel?
Yeah.
Or let's just say you bring a receiver in, and let's say he's not the caliber of a CD, but you pay him $12 million, and there's CD making $5 million. How you think CD's gonna feel? Forget paying them top 30 million, 25, 28, $30 million.
Right.
If just the mere fact that you brought a receiver in and you're paying him actually more than what CD is currently making,
right,
CD is gonna feel some type of way.
You know, it's funny now that you mention it in these scenarios that you're given and these somewhat hypotheticals. Has this ever happened? Because I can't recall it ever happening before.
Yes. Yes. You remember they signed before they signed Bosa, they signed Hargrove. They gave him $24 million and Nick Bosa wasn't making that. Yes, it happens all the time. It happens every year.
Damn, man. Yeah, I never
happens all the time.
That. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I like that. But what happened? They got Bosa together though, huh?
They got him done.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't coming in. He's like, hold on. Look at Armstead. They signed Hargrave. Now they got to release Armstead because they can't pay everybody.
Yeah, you can't.
So 49 seemingly go in all year. They're trying to win it every year. You see what they did with Bosa. You see what they did with Hargrave. They paying Warner. They're paying a Debo. They're paying Christian McCaffrey. They gave Hargrave the money. They Ward. They paid him.
Yeah.
They're like, we going for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the definition of all in. Now, I'm not sure what the Cowboys are doing, but there's a way to spread. You got to spread that money. Listen, you got to have your identity somewhere. Either you're gonna have your identity on offense, or you're gonna have your identity on defense. It got to come from somewhere. So if you're going to use the words all in, you need to do just that. Not stick to your guns and do what you've been doing in the past. Because if you do what you're doing in the past, then basically all you're telling us is just settling for mediocrity in the postseason.
I give you an example. Tennessee. They just signed Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Now, I got a problem with Tennessee because when A.J. Brown asked you for 4 years, $100 million, you laughed at him. Now you sign a guy that's 4 years, 5 years older than A.J. Brown when he asked you for the money.
Right.
And you gave him 4 years, $92 million. Now, how you think D-Hop feel? They just brought Calvin Ridley and they gave him 4. What they give D-Hop?
That's a good question. I don't know the numbers. I don't know the numbers. What are the numbers? You remember?
It ain't 24.
Right.
It ain't 4 years. It ain't 4 years for 92 with 50 fully guaranteed. I know it ain't that. I don't know what the numbers are in Tennessee for D-Hop, but I know they ain't that.
Yeah. How old is D-Hop right now, you think?
32, 33?
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Calvin Ridley 30?
29.
D-Hop 31? D-Hop 31, how old Calvin Ridley?
29. Hey, yeah, and now that I think about it, well, Will Levis, they got something nice over there. Now at the receiving core. That's nice. Goddamn Calvin Ridley and Hop. Well, that's a nice little combo.
Man, that look like the best 8-9 team I've seen in a long time.
Hey, listen.
So who gonna run the ball? Who you gonna run the ball with?
Sure, it's a passing league, man. It's a passing league. This is a passing league. You can run the ball for goddamn decoration like having a cupcake and throwing sprinkles on that motherfucker. Though the sprinkles is the run game.
Yeah.
But your meat and potatoes is the passing game. Now you got goddamn D-Hop.
Who you got passing it?
Huh?
Who you got passing it?
Will Levis, boy, you know he got an arm now. You might not be too fond of him.
Hell, I got one too. I got 2 of them, as a matter of fact.
Hey, you might not be too fond of him, but he's nice now. He can sling that rock.